Cardiovascular diseases are the #1 cause of death in Brazil and around the world. And some foods you eat cause fat to build up in your arteries and can make you part of this sad statistic. But on the other hand, there are some foods that clean your arteries and can help prevent a future heart attack or stroke. And in this video, I am going to show you 7 foods that are real detergents for removing fat from your blood vessels. Hello family, welcome to another video here on our channel. Small adjustments to your diet can make all the difference between you living a healthy and fulfilling life or living with illnesses, stuffing yourself with medication and saying goodbye to this world much earlier than you should. So watch this video until the end. Go ahead and share it in your groups, and of course leave your like, give it a thumbs up. And my friends, I am participating in the IBEST Award for Health Influencer in Brazil. So if you like my work, give me your vote. It does not even take 5 seconds. Just click the link that will appear or scan the QR code. It is also in the description of this video. You can vote every day until June 13th. And of course, share this link in your groups. I am counting on you. And tell me, where are you watching this video from and how is your diet going? Let me know in the comments below. Cardiovascular diseases basically occur due to 3 factors. The formation of clots, which is a gathering of red blood cells that ends up forming an embolus that makes it difficult or sometimes even prevents blood from passing through that vessel. It happens due to inflammation that occurs in the endothelium, which is the inner part of our vessels. It is inflammation without pain or symptoms. This happens every year. And then it ends up causing atheroma, which is that buildup of fat in the arteries that keeps closing them off and can also completely block the flow of blood, and the vessel can rupture. If the vessel ruptures in the heart, we have a heart attack, which can often be fatal. If it happens in the brain, it is a stroke, which in many cases is also fatal or causes lifelong consequences. All of this happens due to a change exactly in our endothelium, which is the inner part of our arteries. Imagine the endothelium as a road, right? A road where cars and trucks pass by every now and then, potholes appear on the road. It is the same with our endothelium. These potholes are caused by inflammation, high blood pressure, and a poor lifestyle. And then, just like on the road, there is a repair. In the case of the road, they use tar. In our case, it is fat. Cholesterol itself acts as a repair system. That is why the problem is not cholesterol itself, but rather the inflammation and disrepair. If you damage this endothelium a lot, it ends up getting thicker and thicker, and it starts to close our vessel until it ruptures. So first, before we talk about the foods that clean our arteries, we need to talk about what causes this problem. Why is our endothelium being injured, being damaged? First, as I already mentioned, inflammation. And what causes this inflammation, Moacir? Basically, an inflammatory diet with some foods that I am going to mention here, that before you change your diet for the better, you need to stop consuming the worst ones. High blood pressure. As the blood flows faster due to the increased pressure, you tend to damage this endothelium more easily. That is why blood pressure needs to be controlled. We have excess visceral fat. Yes, that fat that stays in our belly, that beer belly, it causes a series of problems, inflammatory markers, right? Interleukin-6, tumor necrosis factor alpha, and high sensitivity C-reactive protein all rise. Everyone with a beer belly is inflamed. You have excess cortisol, which causes vasoconstriction. You decrease the diameter of your blood vessels. Therefore, the blood tends to flow faster, and this damages our endothelium even more. But basically, we have the inflammatory process as the main cause and a series of foods that you should eliminate from your life. I will give you the main ones here, okay? First, ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods, my friends. First of all, they do not have any nutrients, right? That is what I always say here. Second, they are made with wheat flour, which is already inflammatory because of the gluten hydrogenated oil, which is extremely inflammatory, especially when heated, and sugar. In other words, you are eating foods that have no nutrients and will cause inflammation in your body. So ultra-processed industrialized foods, cut them out of your life. Second, sweetened drinks, especially soda, but also boxed juice. Sugar, my friends. It promotes a process known as glycation, which is when sugar sticks to certain proteins that attach to the inner wall of our arteries and block those arteries. So sugar should be avoided, and especially in the form of sweetened drinks, which you often do not even notice, right? And you think it is healthy when you drink, for example, a boxed juice. Avoid excessive sugar, both in drinks as well as sugar itself and in the form of sweets. Gluten, as mentioned, is found in wheat flour and can inflame our intestines. And now I'm going to give here 2 foods that you might not know about, which are processed meats that are rich in nitrosamines, which, besides not being good for your heart, also increase your chances of developing cancer. And hydrogenated oil, soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil. Do not cook with these oils. These oils, when heated, produce trans fats and acrolein, which can cause inflammation in your body. And another thing, right, folks? You probably already know this. Alcohol. Alcohol is extremely inflammatory, both for our brain and for our heart. But now comes the purpose of our video. What foods help improve this situation, Moacir? Look, number 1, first, olive oil. Olive oil is rich in phytonutrients, in antioxidants. It is rich in omega-9, which has an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory role. Therefore, olive oil needs to be consumed every day, my friends. Have you heard that olive oil is good for the heart? And it really is. Besides all that, it also has vitamin E, which acts as a scavenger of free radicals. The second food you need to include more in your diet is fish, especially fatty fish and wild fish, which are rich in omega-3. Omega-3 is a powerful anti-inflammatory. It enters the arachidonic acid inflammation cascade and reduces your inflammation. It is true that most fish today are farm-raised and have little omega-3. One option is to supplement, but be sure to use high-quality omega-3, everyone. Always check for the International Fish Standards and MEG3 seals and ensure it has good eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid levels. Third food is hibiscus. I make hibiscus soda, okay, my friends? Make concentrated hibiscus tea, add sparkling water, and it turns out just like a soda. The anthocyanins present in hibiscus have an extraordinary function in controlling bad cholesterol. It helps greatly in this process. So, start consuming hibiscus in the form of tea or as drinks. Flaxseed. Flaxseed, besides being a very beneficial fiber for our intestines, also helps reduce inflammation. It also contains alpha-linolenic acid, which is anti-inflammatory and a pro-omega-3. It is a precursor to eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid. It is true that the conversion is small, but just the fact that it has fiber and good fats will already help your diet a lot. Avocado. Do not like it? Start eating it. Just like olive oil, it is very rich in omega-9, which is anti-inflammatory, very rich in vitamin E, and very rich in soluble fiber, which will feed the good bacteria in our gut and help reduce inflammation. Look at how many interesting foods you can get and start including in your diet. Beetroot. Beetroot, my friends, is rich in nitric oxide. Nitric oxide promotes the dilation of our blood vessels, making it easier for blood to flow. Remember when I said fast-flowing blood can further harm your endothelium? That is right. Beetroot, along with nitric oxide, promotes this dilation and helps reduce and control blood pressure. The same goes for chocolate. Chocolate is also rich in nitric oxide. It is rich in magnesium, which is excellent for your heart. It is a natural antiarrhythmic. By the way, I even recommend that you supplement with magnesium, right? We are all low on magnesium levels. But chocolate is a food that you also need to include in your daily diet. Look at that. 7 examples, 7 foods that if you eat every day, if you stop eating the junk we talked about at the beginning of the video, your overall cardiovascular health will improve. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful for you. Do not forget to vote for me in the iBest Award, okay? I am counting on you. A big hug, my friends. Until our next conversation. See you then.